Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
Welcome to St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. It's a beautiful night from Busch Stadium in the Gateway City. The Redbirds hosting the red-hot Los Angeles Dodgers, who've opened up a 6-game lead in the National League West. And it's Nelly night here at Busch Stadium tonight. Plenty of fans on hand, and a lucky few getting to meet the St. Louis recording star here this afternoon, and Nelly even taking some swings before batting practice here today. Glad you're with us. Rick Horton with Al Raboski. The Cardinals dropped game one of this series here last night. They had their chances, but they lost that game 3-2.
When you're playing these one-run games, fundamentals are critical. There were a couple controversial bunt plays, but they were only controversial because the next hitter didn't get the job done, something that the Cardinal hitters have been so good this year. But we got another chance, and the Cardinals must start winning games against 500 clubs and better.
Very interesting pitching matchup here in game two of this series. One of the game's best will be faced by one of the game's hottest. More on that when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. Ten-game homestand continues against the Dodgers here tonight. And maybe Joe Kelly can cool down this red-hot Dodger team. His last time out, he was very good against Pittsburgh. 6 solid innings, no runs, just 3 hits for Kelly, who has really established himself since the 1st of June in this Cardinals rotation for Mike Matheny.
That's right. The Cardinals have a hot pitcher in Joe Kelly since June 1st. He has the best ERA, 1.49, amongst all major league pitchers. And he is not allowed a run in his last 2 starts. He also has a 14 2/3, a career high scoreless streak going over his last 3 starts.
Joe Kelly looks ready. So are we. We hope you are as well. Looks like Puig is ready too. Fun to watch him play. More on his counterpart, Clayton Kershaw, after this. Clayton Kershaw has been a winner since he burst on the scene in 2008. 71 wins, 3-time All-Star, and a Cy Young Award winner. But he's had trouble with St. Louis, going just 4-4 with a 3.82 ERA. He is one of the game's best.
He actually is. 2011, the Cy Young Award winner, 21-5 with a 2.28 since he made his major league debut, and it was against the Cardinals in 2008. He leads the major leagues in ERA at 2.65, opponent's batting average at 2.10, and yes, he's leading the league in ERA again this year at 1.34. He's allowed 3 or more runs, or he's only allowed 3 or more runs in 22 consecutive starts, and when the Cardinals are one of those 2 teams this year that got 4 runs against him.
Cardinals hit him. Alan Craig is the only one that's homered off of Kershaw. He's in the lineup hitting 3rd. More after this on Fox Sports Midwest. May 26th, the Cardinals got the best of him. St. Louis tagged the 2011 Cy Young winner for 4 runs on 7 hits in 7 innings. The Redbirds won the game 5-3, and the loss dropped the Dodgers to 8 games below 500 and last in the National League West. These are the standings for May 26th. After that St. Louis win, Los Angeles would eventually drop down to 12 games below 500, and rumors started circulating about manager Don Mattingly getting fired. But that was then. Last night's win here at Busch was their 15th straight win on the road, 2 shy of the MLB record. Since that loss, the Dodgers got healthy and introduced baseball fans to Yasiel Puig. They've gone an NL Best 42-22 since seeing St. Louis back in May. So here's how the standings look today, thanks to the emergence of Puig and a clean bill of health. The Dodgers are comfortably on top of Arizona out west. They've won 32 of their last 37 games, but to keep their streak alive, they'll have to get by Joe Kelly, who hasn't allowed an earned run in nearly 15 innings. Game 2 between the Dodgers and the Cardinals, coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by a reminder from Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Designate a driver. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer or log on to stlchevy.com. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steak and Shake, just no equal. Beautiful night for baseball at Busch Stadium. The crowd's still filing in. Let's get right to our Toyota keys to Game 2 of this 4-game series, Al.
Well, Joe Kelly really has to keep his emotions in check. He's from Southern California, so he really does have to try and take care of himself. Also, he's got to remember he's facing the Dodgers lineup. And, of course, the Cardinal hitters, what they need to do is they need to concentrate on the fastball. Kershaw has a very good fastball. He can spot it in and out, up and down, but that's the pitch you got to hit. His 2 breaking balls are almost unhittable. And if you do hit the breaking balls, you're just going to pound it in the dirt. So hit the fastball.
Our Toyota keys, good pitching matchup. Joe Kelly making the start here tonight, his 6th start of the season, and almost a forgotten man for the Cardinals, Joe, but he really has been a big boost over the last month or so.
And Joe Kelly is pitching a little bit better. That's not his 1-loss record. He's 1-2-1. Even game notes are wrong. But Kelly is coming off the last 3 starts. He's put up a 14 2/3 scoreless innings. Last 2 starts, he did not give up a run in each of those games, and he might have been our best starter on the road this recent road trip.
Sure was. 15 straight road wins for the Los Angeles Dodgers as we're just about ready to get underway. Carl Crawford, Mark Ellis, and Adrian Gonzalez in the first for Los Angeles. First pitch, fastball misses away. Carl Crawford came off the disabled list on the 5th of July. And he hasn't exactly been tearing up the National League, but he has been an important part of this Dodger resurgence. They've gotten healthy again, and they've gotten a right fielder.
And really, when they had their problems, they were not a healthy ball club. Remember, like Crawford was coming off the elbow surgery of last year, spent an awful lot of money. Their payroll is well over $230 million. And it seems like if there's somebody available, they have more money to spend.
Crawford 1 for 4 last night. Has 116 career triples, the most in all of baseball. Fouls that one off. Really is a terrific night here. We're so used to over the years, Al, August games in St. Louis being, well, a tad hotter than this.
I don't think you could think it's any hotter because your buddy Nelly is coming up.
Well,
here.
I'm a little excited about that,
yeah,
I must say.
Just keep your hands over there. Dan warned me. He told me I could get the tape out on you, keep you on that side.
There you go, listening to Dan again. The 2-2, line drive base hit to left over the head of David Freese, and that's how this game starts. Ball up, perhaps, out over the plate.
Like they wanted it in. It is up out over the plate, and just a line drive. Gets that ball down. It's probably the ground ball, and hopefully would be a ground ball out. He's got that good fastball, Rick, and you know he really has to establish that on both sides of the plate, up and down.
Crawford a threat to run. Kelly checks on him. Cardinals, of course, dealing with Yadier Molina being on the disabled list, but I would say that Tony Cruz really has handled himself quite well behind the plate.
He really has, and really been able to shut down the running game also. Strong arm.
Big lead for Crawford. Not going. And Mark Ellis takes a strike. Ellis is 0 for his last 8. Very good defensive infielder. In fact, one of the top at his position in baseball history. Career fielding percentage over .990.
Looked like he was taking a pitch to try and let the base runner steal.
Kelly delivers high and in. Cardinals are straight up on the infield for Ellis. They shade him a bit to the other side in the outfield from left to right. That's Holiday, Jay, and Beltran from left to right in the outfield. Kelly has his sign.
Used last night the Phantom Cam, and this is such a pretty video as you just see from slow motion, frame by frame, how good that looks, and just can really sometimes see how unorthodox the arm motion is and how abnormal.
We bring you that video at 4,000 frames a second.
It is.
And I would say I could hit that pitch. How about you?
I'm going to tell you, you're a little bit too high on Nellyisms right now. You can't hit that pitch.
If it came in that slowly, I think I like my chances.
Well, you're up here. How are you going to get down there and hit it?
You know, it'll be fun, Al, for us to use that camera for different kinds of pitches to break down the spin. Ground ball left side, could be 2. Freeze to second. Carpenter to first. Cardinals turn another double play. They've done that 131 times this year. 5-4-3. We'll take a look at the full Dodgers lineup that'll face Joe Kelly here tonight. Crawford and Ellis you've already seen. Gonzalez, Puig, and Ethier are in the middle. A.J. Ellis does the catching for Los Angeles. Uribe, Punto, and Clayton Kershaw round out the Dodgers lineup. And our Dobbs Cardinals defense is Holiday, Jay, Beltran in the outfield. And you just saw Freeze, Cosma, Carpenter, and Craig on the infield. Tony Cruz catching Joe Kelly. One of those games, Al, you're facing a team like the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're red hot. They've won 32 out of 39, 15 straight games on the road. You're up against a guy like Clayton Kershaw. It almost seems as if every pitch, every at-bat is important. You really can't give the Dodgers very much on the offensive side.
You can't. And it really, when you look at the numbers, the Cardinals really almost have to score at least 4 runs to win. They've only had 11 wins this year, scoring 3 runs or less. And we mentioned that Kershaw, very tough to get more than 4 runs off of him.
Ground ball, 3-hopper, handled by Cosma. All kinds of time to throw out Adrian Gonzalez. So a good start for Joe Kelly. Clayton Kershaw to work when we come back. First inning, and the Cardinals lineup for game 2 looks like this. Matt Carpenter, Carlos Beltran, and Alan Craig, 1, 2, 3. In the middle is Matt Holiday, David Freese, and John Jay. Tony Cruz behind the plate. Pete Cosma back at shortstop here tonight, and Joe Kelly will pitch and bat ninth. Our Dodgers defense has Crawford, Ethier, and Puig in the outfield. Punto and Ellis up the middle. Uribe and Gonzalez at the corners. Kershaw, a 2011 Gold Glove winner, pitches for Los Angeles, and A.J. Ellis does the catching. Kershaw is just a terrific left-hander.
Looking for his 11th win. He leads the major leagues with ERA, making his 24th start. He has 3 complete games, 2 shutouts, and he's second in the National League in strikeouts. They say he's not striking out that many, and then you see he's second in the National League. But like a lot of guys, when you get a little older, and he's only 25, but strikeouts, you know, you kind of think about them. There's times to get them, and there's times just to get out, quick outs.
Hard hit to center. First ball swinging is Matt Carpenter, and he drives Ethier back a bit. 1 pitch, 1 out for the Cardinals here in the first. And that brings in Carlos Beltran. A 5-game hitting streak for Carlos and 353 career home runs. One of the game's best switch hitters, and involved, as Jim Hayes talked about in the pregame show, a play last night where he bunted in a sacrifice situation. And many would have liked to seen him swing the bat, including me.
Well, yeah, you and Dan were on the air, and I agree with you. We'd prefer to see him hit a 3-run home run in that situation. You can't fault him for what he was thinking. And his instincts told him to drop down a bunt. It was only the 7th time in his career with runners at first and second. Get both into scoring position, And then you've got, Alan Craig, Mr. RBI, and Holiday coming up next. So that was his thinking, that he was going to give himself up for the team, and the Cardinals would take a lead if Alan Craig or Holiday do what they do.
It was a selfless thought,
yes,
for Carlos Beltran, but at the time, a lot of us wish he was a little more selfish.
Selfish.
Get those RBIs yourself, but certainly that's what he was thinking. Very dangerous from both sides of the plate. 1-2, the count, and way out in front of that off-speed pitch. And Kershaw so good with his secondary pitches.
When you watch the Phantom Cam, especially with a guy that is not wearing sleeves, look at the torque on the elbow. But look at how he also will pull that down and then twist the arm. Wow. Here's that pitch. As you see, it's an off-speed pitch way out in front. He's got very good secondary pitches. He can throw them for strikes. And he has the fastball. Not as fast as he used to be, but he spots it so well.
Line drive base hit up the middle for Alan Craig. We mentioned he's the only Cardinal that's homered off of Kershaw.
And that's what Beltran was hoping for last night. Alan Craig to come up, drive in at least one, if not both runs. And then you got Holiday to keep on adding on.
It's exactly what you said in the open, Al. It often depends whether something works or not, what happens afterwards.
And how can you fault them? Because the Cardinals have just been unbelievable with runners in scoring position. So putting two in scoring position for a couple of the best makes perfect sense. Just didn't work.
Brings in Matt Holliday. Holliday at 278. Holliday also swinging at the first pitch. And you mentioned that one of the Toyota keys to this game would be the Cardinals hitting that fastball. So 3 out of the first 4 batters have offered at that first delivery, trying to jump on that fastball.
Yeah. Matt Carpenter, he hit the ball well. It just found a fielder. Alan Craig trying to go up the middle also. That's strong offensive theory of using the big part of the field. And then if the pitch is inside, you can turn on it. If it's out of way, you go with that pitch. But if you're thinking up the middle, you can do all those different things. If you're trying to pull everything, then you're just going to roll over on ground balls, and you're going to have a tough night.
Kershaw has that unique delivery from the stretch. He goes high over his head. And there's the curveball from Kershaw, and that's the pitch that's really well disguised and unhittable.
He has 2 of them. Curveball is very difficult. He also has that slider that he throws to the back foot, and that's an awful tough pitch. And just think about it. If you're up there looking curveball or off-speed pitch, the only thing you're going to really be able to drive is the hanger. And if you're looking fastball, you can adjust to that pitch.
Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Kershaw. He has 2. No score through 1. Bash weekend with great promotions for kids 15 and younger. Saturday, August 24th. 12,000 kids get a one-of-a-kind Fredbirds cap courtesy of Ice Mountain. At Sunday, August 25th, 12,000 kids receive their own Fredbird by Build-A-Bear workshop. So get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. And we've made a nice trade. We have traded Al Roboski for Nelly.
Hey,
welcome to the Cardinal Telecast. Great to have you. And I'm sure folks have probably told you, and I had a chance to tell you before, I'm a big fan.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And I know you're a Cardinal fan, too.
Oh, man. Long time.
Growing up in St. Louis, you had a chance today, Nelly, to take some batting practice. How did that go?
It was awesome. You know, I got a chance to cross something off the bucket list. So it worked out real good, man. You know, lifelong Cardinals fan. I grew up loving Ozzie Smith. How could I not, you know, and I wore #1 for every sport.
Oh, that's awesome.
Everything that I played except for football. So it was pretty good.
Swing and a miss as Joe Kelly faces Yasiel Puig. Well, it's off my bucket list now that I get to meet you and talk to you,
man,
too. So I'm
it is.
really pumped about that. I had a chance to see you at the All-Star game when it was held here in St. Louis, and you and Chuck Berry did some work together, and that was one of my favorite nights. You guys were outstanding.
Thanks, man. Yeah, getting a chance to rock with Chuck, you know, that was my first time, man. He still got it. He was a little more intense than I was. So,
and as a St. Louis, and obviously it's been important in your fantastic career when you started to blow up nationally and internationally, you still get this sense that you're representing St. Louis.
Yeah, you know, that's the great thing about being here and living here. That's why I'm still here. That's why I still live here. You know, a lot of people ask, okay, I know you're in St. Louis, but where do you live? I was like, I live here. They're just like, no, really? I was like, yes, really. I mean, you know, I have a beautiful family. All of my family is here, and I love the people. You know, I love the city. I'm comfortable. It's home, and you know what's home is home. So I have no problem visiting other places, but I always got to make it back home.
Well, we love to have you here. 2-2 the count to Puig. Kelly misses away. Full count now, and we're talking with Nelly. Al Roboski has this half inning off, and I am just all geeked up right here because I'm talking to St. Louis' Nelly right now.
These are great seats,
aren't they, though?
This is a great
You come up and join us anytime.
All right. I'm going to try it tomorrow when it's not Nelly's day and see if they stop me at the gate.
You like your bobblehead?
Yeah, the bobblehead is awesome.
We're going to talk. We were just told that we're going to be looking at something other than your swings today. You also threw the ceremonial first pitch out today, and I want you to break this down for us, Nelly.
Oh, see, I thought it was a pitch out.
Oh, I see. I didn't see the sign.
The pitch out was called. You see what I'm saying? See, Freeze called the pitch out. See, what they didn't show, see, they picked that up at the wrong spot. See, what they didn't show is him giving me the fist outside. And I thought it was a pitch out, and the guy didn't even raise up. Man, Freeze, he left me out to dry. Those Lafayette guys, you can't trust them.
Now, Nelly, you know I love you, but I feel like you're throwing David Freeze under the bus right now.
Of course I am. He's a friend. That's what friends do.
And he did talk about, we talked this past week about how he's had a chance to listen to you record from time to time, and he really gets a kick out of that. Again, you share that bond of being a St. Louisan that's really made it.
You know what was so amazing? The night they won the World Series and he got the MVP, and the night, I think it was that night, he came to the studio later on that night. You know what I'm saying? And it was great.
I'm sure a thrill for him, a thrill for you guys to talk about that great moment.
A thrill for us. You know, he was like, he was out there, and my whole family came up. Everybody was driving up to the studio. I think he was psyched that we was having him there, but we were more psyched to have him there. You know, and it was awesome. I think we probably took more pictures than.
So David Freeze was a rock star that night.
He's a rock star that night. I couldn't have made a bigger record.
Andre Ethier facing Joe Kelly. There's a look at David Freeze, a big Nelly fan and friend.
Yeah, man.
No score, top of the second inning. There's a fly ball to center field. Back goes John Jay. No problem with that. So what's up next for Nelly?
That's my other boy right there.
Yeah, you know John Jay too?
Yeah, I know both of those characters.
So what's up next for you? What do you have on your bucket list going forward?
Well, September 30th, I'm dropping my 7th album. It's entitled M.O. You know, a lot of people, friends and family, they call me Mo, and obviously Missouri. So, you know, it's me being me and representing me at all times. So September 30th, that album's coming out. I'm real excited about that. Florida Georgia Line's on the album. They did a song for my album as well as the song that you heard, Cruise, which has been doing unbelievably well. So
love that remix.
You know, I also finished a movie with Sylvester Stallone called Reach Me. That might be out later on this year, if not the top of next year. So I've been doing a lot of great things.
Outstanding. That's great. And for folks that want to follow you on Twitter and I'm one of those, Nelly Mo.
There you go.
You've got plenty of those followers, and certainly talking about your albums coming up and representing St. Louis very, very well.
Thank you very much.
And I know you've enjoyed your road's been a great one. You've had the opportunity to do an awful lot of things, and again, just appreciate the fact that St. Louis is your roots.
Nah, no problem, man. I love the city, and I appreciate them.
A.J. Ellis batting with 2 outs. No score in the top of the second inning. Joe Kelly and Clayton Kershaw going at it here tonight. We've got St. Louis's Nelly here.
Beautiful night, man. It started off a little warm. I was a little worried, but it cooled off nice, and the skyline and everything is gorgeous.
Now, did you almost go deep today, or no? I heard you had a bet that you might do that.
You know what? I went about almost to the warning track straight away. So I felt like had I pulled it, I know I felt like had I pulled it, you know. So that's what's helping me sleep tonight, to know that I at least hit it 330.
Far enough, just the wrong way.
That's all.
You went to the big part of the field.
Well, you know, direction is overrated.
Well, let's look at this swing. Maybe you could break it down a little bit.
But this one is almost. You see that? They had the head down, eyes on the ball. Oh, wait a minute. That's not the one. What is that?
I think you grounded out
Who
on that
you
one.
have in the booth out there, man? What is this characters?
If you got some wheels, though, you could have beat that out.
Oh, nah. Who's in the booth back there, man? Who's queuing this stuff up? A Cubs fan?
Oh, that's funny. You are a St. Louisan, aren't you? Well,
come on. You at least got to cue my deep fly ball up. Come on, at least before they kick me out of here.
I got to ask you quickly, Nelly, and we appreciate this visit here. What's kind of the thrill for you? David Freese hits a home run in a World Series game. What's the thrill for somebody like Nelly with what you do?
That's just it. You know, today has been a huge thrill. You know, I brought my kids out, my daughter and my son. They had a unbelievable time when I was taking batting practice, and yeah, you know, getting a chance to come to the games, getting a chance to meet the players, and you know, I think it's just that camaraderie, you know, because I've been playing sports my whole life, so I get the camaraderie and what the locker room means. You know, that's 50% of making it in the big leagues. It's not really playing the game. It's just being around the people. You know, it's like a second family for you. So getting a chance to just, you know, kind of like shoot the stars a little bit with the guys. Cool.
And what you do as a team, too. Clearly,
yeah,
you know, you're Nelly and you're the front, but you've got people helping you out along the way.
Yeah, man, it takes a whole team to get a record from start to finish and to get it out, to get it promoted. So I'm very, very blessed with all the people that work with me and help me out.
And it takes somebody like me at the end to buy it, because I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get your Nelly Mo. It comes out September.
Yeah, September 30th.
September 30th, I'll be in the front row looking for that one. Fly ball to center field.
Uh-oh, Jay.
Back goes Jay.
Tough
Jay. Play on the run.
Look
He
at
makes the play. Thrilling Nelly Mo.
Look at that guy. I got to tease him. I'm going to call him later.
How about that? Even Nelly approves. John Jay goes a long way. We appreciate, Nelly, you being with us.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome here anytime, my friend.
All right, you heard that, guys.
No score. How about that play by John Jay? American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. We'd like to welcome you on the American Forces Network. John Jay closed out the top of the second inning in spectacular fashion, going straight away from home plate, catching that ball on the run. And Al Raboski rejoining the booth. We kicked Nelly out. How about that play?
Yeah, sure. You didn't kick him out. You were trying to tie him down in here. But that was an awesome play there by John Jay. And
sure
really
was.
Closed the gap on that ball, and then really very much under control in the last second, reached up and hauled it in.
There's John Jay. He's on deck. He'll hit after David Freese. Freese, Jay, and Cruz in the Cardinals' second as they'll try to figure out this left-hander Clayton Kershaw.
Even if you figure him out, you still got to hit him.
You might know what's coming, and it still doesn't help.
Talked about that windup. You know, it's got that little hesitation in it to throw your timing off as a hitter. Got a lot of things going for him.
David has a 6-game hitting streak going. He's upped his average to 273. And David is one of our BJC difference makers. Carlos Beltran also a 5-game hitting streak. David's starting to find that home run stroke too, Al.
Well, I think the thing is he's starting to drive the ball to his natural strength, and that's right center.
Swing and a miss. He blows that one past David Freese, and that's 3 quick strikeouts for Kershaw. That late movement, very tough to catch up to.
You see the breaking ball that kind of high, but it's just bad enough that gets away with it. A lot of people are speculating that Kershaw is going to be the first $200 million pitcher.
I assume his agent is one of those people speculating that. Can't blame him. One-0 pitch to John Jay is fouled off. Kershaw, one of those guys who's been voted kind of the humanitarian award winner of the Dodgers year after year. He has his own orphanage. He is just really a guy that gives a lot back too. So
that orphanage is in Africa. They go every year, he and his wife.
They don't just give money, they go.
They go and missionaries and do an outstanding job. One of the reasons why they say he might get $200 million is because the Dodgers gave Greinke $159.
Greinke won game 1 here last night, his 100th career victory. Cardinals got to him in the first inning, picked up a run, threatened for more than that, but he really settled down. Kershaw does not walk a lot of batters, but he walks John Jay with 1 out in the second inning. Our home plate umpire is Jim Joyce. He is the crew chief, and many would say one of the best umpires in the game. And John Jay gets the benefit of the doubt on that last delivery.
Ricky, you were doing TV with Dan, and I was doing radio on the last road trip. But one of the things that John Rooney and I talked about was now with all the umpires under the Major League Baseball umbrella, they don't really care. You know, when you have good matchups or good quick throw. But it used to be when you had a league president, they would look at these matchups of 2 first-place clubs or 2 battling clubs, and they'd put the better crews with them because we had some very questionable home plate calls.
Think about the way umpiring has changed in terms of how they will give out those assignments. And again, it really started with them stopping having American League and National League umpires. There was a time where you were one or the other, and people would say, and I think you'd agree, how there was a different strike zone. You were in the American League and the National League.
Well, when I was in the American League, the umpires still had the big old balloon chest protectors, so they naturally called a higher pitch.
Ground ball left side. Tough play, tough turn, but the Dodgers make it happen. Cardinals are good with double plays, but so is this Los Angeles team. On to the third. No score. No score, top of the third inning. Rick Horton with Al Raboski. We also have Jim Hayes with us here tonight, and Jim has more on Carlos Beltran. Jim?
Yeah, and that bunt was a hot topic in St. Louis sports this morning and last night after the game. Carlos left last night before he met with the media, and he tried to clear things up today. He wasn't aware that it was the source of controversy. As Al mentioned, Carlos said it was his idea to bunt. The goal was to move runners over, and he kind of felt like he did his job. Mike Matheny said the bunt wouldn't have been his choice in that situation, but sometimes you have to trust in your players' instincts, guys.
Thanks, Jim. Carlos certainly has earned a right in his career to be respected, and I think that's what Mike Matheny was really saying in his post-game sound yesterday, and certainly frustrated with the Cardinals' one-run loss against the Dodgers, but he certainly respects Carlos Beltran.
Well, the one thing we've already learned about Mike Matheny is he's going to stick up for his players. He's not throwing anybody under the bus. You know, he'll take blame. Would prefer that rather than you place on one of his players. But in essence, when he does that, it kind of told you who the who decided to put the bunt down.
Juan Uribe just 3 for 17 on the road trip for Los Angeles. He's played a very solid third base. Has occasional power out of that 7th spot. Veteran right-handed hitting third baseman. Hard hit, knocked down by Freese, and he can't get the handle, but finally gets it, and he's safe at first. An odd play there by David Freese as he knocked it down. He just couldn't get the handle to get rid of it, and then a close play at first, and Uribe hustling beats it out.
Hard hit ball, and David Freese, as you said, just couldn't hold on to the smash, playing really close to the line. It's just a half step to his left, and there's where he had to double clutch, and that allowed Uribe to get down the line safely.
Good call, our Hyundai replay. You wonder if David double clutched because perhaps Alan Craig hadn't gotten to the bag yet. That's certainly a possibility. It had that kind of look to it. We weren't really able to see both things at the same time. Regardless, it's a base runner for the Dodgers leading off the third inning.
E5 on the play, and have no argument with that. Just David's 6th error of the year. How about Punto, as he made that tremendous relay throw from Puig to A.J. Ellis. They tagged out Alan Craig trying to score.
Base hit up the middle for Punto, the former Cardinal.
Also got the big hit, the double, ahead of the Greinke game-winning hit.
Fox Sports 1 is coming, and Fox Sports girls are on a cross-country road trip to celebrate. 13 girls from around the country will be in St. Louis tailgating before Sunday's game at the outfield at Mike Shannon's. We're also raffling World Champions memorabilia to benefit the USO of Missouri. Help the USO and meet the girls this Sunday. Follow their journey on foxsports.com/road to launch. Dodgers threatening here in the 3rd inning. An error by Freese, a base hit by the former Cardinal Punto, who's now 4 for 5 in his career against Joe Kelly, and a bunting situation for Kershaw.
Punto is now 7 for 14 against Cardinal pitching. Kershaw not quite as good a hitter as, say, Greinke, but he'll handle the bat very well.
The Dodgers staff collectively has the best batting average for a pitching staff of anybody in the National League. Kershaw does have 1 home run, but hitting just 137. And he'll be bunting again here, and he takes a strike. Doesn't like the call. 0-2.
As a pitcher, you may not like an umpire's call, but basically you say, okay, give that pitch to me and we'll be even.
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah. Joe Kelly with that pitch down in the zone where you would think he'd try to elevate it to get a pop-up.
He bunting again, and he bunts this one foul, so it's a strikeout of Clayton Kershaw, the first for Joe Kelly.
Kershaw might have been thinking about strike 2 because that was not his best effort trying to bunt.
So important to do the little things right. Bunting was a big part of the game here last night.
Has the knees flexed, but dropping the barrel a little bit. Always like to have that barrel slightly higher than your hands.
Looping liner to right field. In comes Beltran. He may have a play at first base. Alan Craig not there. So Beltran holds on to it. Not sure they would have had a chance at Punto anyway. But Beltran had it in his mind to maybe double off Punto.
And of course, Ricky, you're talking about little things. That's another little thing. Anticipation. Maybe get a better look here as Punto starts to run, and then he realizes that Beltran's going to get it. Alan Craig seemed a little tardy getting there and throwing it at a moving target. You don't want to put them both at second and third.
I think maybe all players on the field were reacting as if that might have been a base hit. Alan Craig coming in to be the cutoff man, perhaps. Maybe had to scramble back to the bag, as did the runner. That brings in Mark Ellis, the Dodgers second baseman. Good breaking ball from Kelly, strike 1.
He has a good breaking ball. He's got the fastball that probably averages 94 miles an hour. He likes that fastball, and rightfully so.
Another breaker, this one high, 1-1. That pitch at 76.
Ricky, that's a situation where you see a lot of hanging, breaking curveballs like that they're not called strikes, so hitters don't swing at them. But that pitch goes a long way.
The 1-1 jams him a bit, 1-2. Ellis bounced into a double play in the Dodger first. He's now 0 for his last 9. And the Cardinals and Dodgers both hitting very well as a team. Cardinals lead the National League at 274 in terms of batting average. The Dodgers in second at 264. Neither team really has a lot of power, and the Dodgers run more. Off-speed pitch is low. 1-2. These two teams have matched up before, haven't they?
They really have. I mean, whether it's postseason or just during the regular season, it's incredible how close these two clubs have been. The Dodgers have 2 more wins than the Cardinals, and we're talking about over 2,000. Maybe it's up to 2,200 now, combined games.
Curveball high. Dodgers lead the Cardinals in the all-time series. For those of you scoring at home, I always love saying that, Al. 1,010 to 1,008.
I knew it was 2 and just over 2,000. And I remember years when it was Cardinals up by 1 or 2 and the Dodgers, but it's never been much more than that.
Teams with a lot of tradition. Full count, runners will be moving. The pitch from Kelly. Soft grounder to the left side. You're going to have to hurry, Mr. Freeze, and he does, and he pulls Craig off the bag, but they call him out. Cardinals will take that. By Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer. Go big at a participating Jack in the Box with Jack's really big chicken sandwich combos for only $3.99 plus tax. And by 5-Hour Energy Shots. The delivery of Clayton Kershaw on display here tonight at Busch Stadium. Kershaw 10-6 with an ERA of 1.87. National League and the American League opponents in interleague play hitting just 185 against Kershaw. That's how good he's been. Far and away the best number in the National League in terms of opponents batting average. And it's strike one to Pete Kozma,
who is 3 for 3 with 2 doubles off of Clayton. Explain that one.
Popped up on the right side. Ellis has it, and Kozma's now 3 for 4. And it's time for our Twitter poll question. We love this particular aspect of our telecast each and every night. And our Twitter poll: who is the best left-hander in the National League right now? Is it Cliff Lee, Clayton Kershaw, who you are seeing, Francisco Liriano, who the Cardinals saw on the last road trip, or Patrick Corbin? 4 very good left-handers.
Sure, if you were to ask the hitters of the National League, they would say that it's Kershaw. And Mike Matheny would say it's a challenge for our hitters.
2 hopper to short. Kelly's thrown out. 2 quick outs for Kershaw. Let's take a look at that pop-up by Cosmo in slow motion.
Watch the bat.
Brings in Matt Carpenter, takes strike one. Carpenter swung at the first pitch he saw and flew out to center field. The Cardinals have managed just one hit. That's Alan Craig, who singled with 2 outs in that first. Just getting started here at Busch Stadium. Only 3 hits in the early going. Dodgers 2 hits, Carl Crawford and Nick Punto. Carpenter has had a phenomenal season. Not sure many saw this coming. I think Mike Matheny and John Mabry did, and maybe Matt Carpenter, but I don't think a lot of people nationally saw the high side of Matt Carpenter.
Not to this degree. You know, they knew, Mike Matheny and John Mabry knew that he was a good hitter and you wanted his bat in the lineup, so they asked him to learn to play second base in the offseason. Then all of a sudden, 2 years ago, when Mark McGuire and John Mabry were the hitting coaches, they kind of got to Carpenter and said, look, you're a pretty good sized guy. You got to use your lower half. You got to learn to drive the ball. Or he was a high average hitter, but just really kind of just tried to flare the ball and try and put it all around the diamond. But then all of a sudden, he really learned it in spring training.
2-2, and he waves at a slider. And strikeout victim number 4 for Clayton Kershaw. No score. Catch the rest of the 2013 season in HD quality. Watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.tv today. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. We have baseball here at Busch Stadium, and we have a pitcher's duel. Joe Kelly and Clayton Kershaw. Nothing but zeros through the first 3 frames, and Kelly will have the middle of the order, and here's where you have to be careful. Adrian Gonzalez, Yasiel Puig, and Andre Ethier.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question. When you were starting, did you look at the lineup and say, oh, this guy matches up pretty good against me, but this is where I'm going to have my escape route because I can get this guy, that guy, and this guy out? Kind of go over how you would program your mind when you were facing a lineup.
No question. There's always 2 or 3 guys, sometimes 8 or 9, that I want to pitch around.
Kind of hard to do that, Rick.
I know you got to pitch to somebody. Well, the pitcher.
Well, and,
wait for the pitcher.
And, you know, it's a little different, you know, with nobody on base, or when you have those guys coming up with men on, you know, you have to change your approach.
Ground ball to short, ranging to his left is Cosma. He throws out Gonzalez, who's now bounced out 2 feet 2 different times. Yeah, I think part of it is the question, who's the guy you don't want to beat you, and make sure he doesn't. Make somebody else beat you. I think pitchers still ask that question.
They should.
Here's a guy you don't want to beat you, Yasiel Puig. Very exciting young player. Just 22 years of age, all kinds of talent. I guess we would say, we saw some of it here last night, it would be fair description to say that it's raw talent.
It really is. When you talk to people that have seen him ever since he's come up, he said the most accomplished part of that his game is his hitting. But he runs the bases until they tag him out. In the outfield, the throw that he made last night, it was a great throw, but in essence he'll pick the ball up and try to throw it all the way home. It's just that Punto got in position to be the second cutoff man and then made a great relay throw. But there's no doubt he is very, very exciting, and Dodgers paid a lot of money. Cuban defector and won the rights to him, and you know, he's come up and has shown that he, along with Ramirez coming back about the same time, really energized this ball club and got him started in the winning ways.
Check swing, didn't go, says the first base umpire Jeff Nelson. Puig, just to kind of put into some perspective just how good his start was, in his first 50 games he had over 70 hits and 10 home runs, and no player had done that since Joe DiMaggio.
Signed a 7-year $42 million contract.
And he's aboard here in the 4th inning. Walks on a 3-1 pitch, and he can run. Part of the 5-tool description of this young player Yasiel Puig is he can run, hit, throw, hit for power, play defense. He can do it all. Joe Kelly has stretched his consecutive scoreless inning streak now to 18.
His last 2 starts on the road were scoreless, and then you go back to an inning or 2 innings and a third, and start 3 starts ago, and then what you have here tonight.
Facing Andre Ethier, 5 left-handed bats in the lineup against Kelly, including Ethier. Very accomplished hitter, 309 since the beginning of June. He was really off to a slow start. Part of the Dodgers' woes, he was just not hitting at all. No pop in his bat. Total still down a bit, 7 home runs, 37 RBIs, but he's really an integral part of this Dodger lineup. Big hole on the right side. Kelly checking on Puig.
Ethier is, with his 0 for 1 tonight, is 2 for 7. Double and a home run against Joe Kelly. But Joe Kelly's pitching now with a lot more confidence than he did early in the season out of the bullpen.
Will they test Tony Cruz? Not on that pitch. Pretty good pitch. Must have missed low at 96 miles an hour. Typical Ethier year, Al, right around 300. Did that 2 or 3 times at the 290s. 20 home runs, 80 RBIs. Typical year for him. So his number's down a bit.
Sometimes they question his true grit. Is he really going to fight his way through slumps or different things? But he's in the first year of a 5-year, $85 million contract extension.
Joe Kelly so worried about Puig, perhaps needs to divert some of that attention right now to Andre Ethier.
That's a very good point, Ricky, because when you do that, you sacrifice going to the plate.
Ground ball right side. Carpenter to Cosma on the first. The Cardinals turn another double play. On a 3-0 count, second double play turned here tonight. This one started by Matt Carpenter. Puig, the runner at first, tries to take out Cosma. Cosma goes around it. Nice play. Hit through 3 innings. Joe Kelly matching him pitch for pitch. Our charter high-speed pitch. Kershaw and Joe Kelly both in the mid-90s.
Kershaw down a little bit from when he first showed up, but probably more effective and better command of his pitching. And I think most people are a little shocked when they see how hard that Joe Kelly actually does throw. And 96 the highest tonight, but he averages about 94.
Carlos Beltran swings at the first pitch, fouls it back. Beltran struck out in the first. The Cardinals have struck out 4 times so far against the left-hander. Good numbers for Carlos. Nice wide stance that he has from the right side. Well hit past Uribe into left field. Cardinals have their second hit.
And more importantly, it's a leadoff base hit with the Thunder coming up behind him. Talk about Kershaw rarely will leave a ball in the middle of the plate. He does so right here. Phantom cam, how that makes contact. Little vibration at the point of contact. And watch that bat.
Alan Craig singled in the first and has changed his walk-up song. That was a Nelly song. I'm sure in honor of Nelly bobblehead night. Fastball on the inside corner. Strike one. Rick Horton with Al Raboski, Jim Hayes, and Nelly from Busch Stadium.
Those two guys have been trying to get John Jay to change his walk-up sign for a long time, and then Alan Craig just does it for Nelly.
That's Nelly's pull. Big year for Alan Craig. He is very much kind of an understated personality type in the Cardinals clubhouse and on the field. Doesn't really say a lot.
It's his back doing the talking.
Exactly right. And he's not really a self-promoter at all.
No. But everybody in the league knows about his forte, and that's driving in runs.
Batting average, and we've talked about it a ton, but we need to keep talking about it because it could end up, when the season is over, one of the most unbelievable seasons as far as batting with runners in scoring position this game has seen. He's at 468 now. 468. There are 3 players in the National League that are over 400. Matt Carpenter's one of them. Freeman for Atlanta the other, and Alan Craig far and away the best in the National League with risk.
And remember, last year, Alan Craig led the major leagues with a 400 average with runners in scoring position. So he's doing it back-to-back years. And no reason to think he won't continue to do it. He likes the idea of coming up with runners in scoring position. Beltran is not there yet, but
off-speed pitch low to Craig. Allen has 11 home runs. We mentioned the only Cardinal to homer off of Clayton Kershaw. Home run really not the way the Cardinals have scored this year. It's making those hits count, runners in scoring position, 2-out hits. That's really been how this team has scored, not stealing bases, just timely hitting.
That's strange because a couple times the last few years you thought the club was a little too dependent on the home run for their scoring. And in the month of July, they only had 9 home runs. First homestand, they had no home runs, but won 5 out of 6 because of that good clutch hitting.
2-2 curveball just a bit high.
He's buckled.
Up to 333 against Kershaw with that first inning base hit. And we'll see if Mike Matheny wants to send the runner here. 3-2, nobody out. No score in the fourth. Not going. And it's popped up behind home plate and should reach the seats, and it does. Really difficult now to start a runner against a pitcher like Clayton Kershaw that gets so many strikeouts.
True. Alan Craig. You see the delivery and how he squares up. Look at that torque on the elbow. Watch those muscles.
Great look at a curveball, the downward spin. Yeah, I hear you. Every time I see that, I want to scream and go find an Advil. 3-2. Ground ball left side off the foot of Alan Craig, and we'll do it again. Dodgers, as we mentioned, have won 15 straight road games. You've got to go back to the 1957 Cincinnati Reds to find a team that has done something that amazing. Dodgers have won 32 out of 39 games and really have been a different team since the 21st of June. And that guy right there has been able to not only keep his job, but now he's got maybe the best team in baseball.
I remember when we were out in L.A. early in the season, and people were wondering if Don Manning would keep his job through the weekend. Well, we're happy to say he has, and good baseball man. Gap out left center. The center fielder Ethier shading right a little bit. He's standing right on top of the arch. Crowd into the grass.
Crowd starting to get engaged here in the Cardinal fourth. Only one player in the National League with more hits than Alan Craig, and that's Gene Segura for the Brewers, who has 136. Craig at 133.
By the way, with a couple other prospects, was dealt from the Angels to Milwaukee, and then Milwaukee can't retain Greinke.
Another payoff pitch to Alan Craig is on its way. Line drive caught by Kershaw, and he turns it into a double play. How about that reaction? Got his head out of the way, got his glove up, snared it.
He might have gotten a whiplash trying to get the head out of the way. But Ricky, you know, there's sometimes a line drive will come right back at you. You don't see it, but you react and catch it. This may be one of those. And then there's other times you see it so well, but you can't react to catch it.
That was some play.
That was just a rocket. Allen really a low ball hitter, and you can see how quickly that ball gets out to him. And under control and composure, he completed that throw to first. You could understand if we would have thrown that one away.
You bet. Swing and a miss by Holiday. That was such a great look on that instant replay too, Al, of when a ball is hit on the nose, it has very little spin to it. You just see how that ball was just not knuckling so much, but just
no rotation.
Very squarely, not a lot of rotation. And Kershaw snared it. Look at that one more time. There's the spin on the pitch.
Over 101 miles an hour right back at it.
Wow. Holiday chases. Another strikeout for Kershaw. He turned a double play the hard way. No score through 4. With fans on August 23rd when Fox Sports Midwest presents Bobby Cox, Tommy Lasorda, and Whitey Herzog in the Legends of the Dugout lunch at the MAC. Never before have these three joined together. You're not going to want to miss their candid comments and their entertaining stories. Buy tickets now at stlouissportshalloffame.com. No score through 4. Cardinals trying to figure out a way to get to Clayton Kershaw, but their guy Joe Kelly has done a nice job through 4 and is extending his scoreless inning streak.
He's at 18 2/3 innings right now. He's covering his last tail end of his start 4 times ago, and then the last 3, including tonight. Didn't give up an unearned run on the road.
A.J. Ellis, Dodger catcher, leads it off. Ellis has a interesting stat by his name. He faces more pitches than anybody in the National League. He likes the deep count. He makes pitchers work. Batting average at .256. And he takes that pitch low, 1-1.
0 for 7 against Kelly. So that formula hasn't worked.
The 2-1. Line drive, base hit to center. Leadoff hit for Ellis. That's hit number 3 for the Dodgers.
Swung earlier in the count.
He sure did. Every once in a while that works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Check the location.
Not far enough in.
Had a great matchup here last night, Wainwright and Greinke. Tonight it's baseball's hottest pitcher, Joe Kelly, facing perhaps baseball's best pitcher, Clayton Kershaw.
People go, what are you talking about, Joe Kelly? But he came in with the lowest ERA since June 1st of any major league pitcher.
Could be 2. Cosma steps on the bag onto Alan Craig. And for the 3rd time tonight, the Cardinals turn a double play.
Pitcher's best friend. He wasn't hit that hard, so you kind of wondered if Uribe may beat it out. High hopper right in front of the plate, but Cosma right there at the bag and steps on it and completes the throw. Third double play.
Right in the flow of his movement, wasn't it?
Just no wasted motion, just catch it, and you're scooting towards that second base bag, and like you said, all one motion, then complete the throw.
Cardinals would like to get Nick Punto out. On base twice last night. Single off of Kelly in the 3rd. He takes strike 1. Punto's always been a good hitter.
3 for 4. Now, 4 for 5 against Joe Kelly, and a 500 hitter against Cardinal pitching. Talking to Punto yesterday and kind of paying compliment to him, the kind of player he is. You know, good team player, and move all around the diamond, is always ready. Scalzo's a lot like that, you know, really come into their own. But he said, you know, I've been around the league too long. I can't trick people. You know, that I am what I am, and he's a winning player.
Behind in the count to Joe Kelly. Takes that pitch high. 2-2. Punto came up with the Philadelphia Phillies, but had maybe his best years in Minnesota. Pitch high before coming to St. Louis, then on to Boston, and now the Dodgers.
What a good defensive player he was. Still is, but some of the plays wearing the Cardinal uniform he made at second base were dazzling.
I think of him, I think of the odd kind of off-balance way that he likes to throw, almost off the wrong foot. He did that quite a bit on kind of 2 hoppers when he plays second base. Kind of had that awkward throw that just kind of works for him.
Saw his strong throwing arm last night as he completed the relay, but you know, a lot of times people erroneously think that you can just put somebody at second base that's weak arm. But you got so many throws that you're going towards the outfield and got to reverse and throw to first. There's a lot of tough throws for a good second baseman.
Payoff pitch, setting up inside, and they just missed that inside corner. 2-out walk to Punto. Brings in Kershaw.
I don't know about you, Rick, but I always bear down on the 8th place hitter. Really concentrated. Never wanted that guy to either get a hit or a walk, because I wanted the easy out with the pitcher batting. Didn't always work that way, but you know,
that's the mindset.
Yeah, in today's game, so many times where, and Joe Kelly wasn't trying to walk him there, but pitching so carefully. You had a comfort zone where you could, you know, if you were really behind the count or something, you could throw the pitch in that area and get somebody to roll over and get you a little ground ball.
Exactly.
It just seemed like guys don't have that type of fastball command.
The 0-1 taken high, and I think the other problem as it relates to the way players are today, they're bigger, stronger, faster. There are so many players that can take the ball deep the other way. It's you have more power up and down your lineup. There's not as many kind of old school traditional 8th place hitters as there used to be. Watch out. Kershaw struck out attempting to bunt in the 3rd inning.
I don't think it's any doubt that it's tougher to pitch today where the guy's bigger, stronger, and they've taken away more and more foul territory. The baseballs are hard as a rock. You know, the technology, the video, and everything they have to help hitters. You know, so much analysis today. Okay, this is a 2-1 count. Joe Kelly likes to throw a changeup on this count, you know, to a regular hitter. On 3-1, it'll be a different pitch that you can look for.
Needs a strike here, and he gets one. Little tapper over the mound. Tough play. Cosma off balance. Gets his man. Cosma busy that inning. With 1 out, turn this double play to help out Joe Kelly. And a current or former Cardinals player on August 9th, Jose Oquendo, will be signing autographs, and that's going to start at 6 o'clock. The first 200 people in the Budweiser Bass line will be guaranteed an autograph. For information and tickets, visit cardinals.com/promotions. David Freese will try to get the Cardinals offense going here in the bottom of the 5th inning. He has a 6-game hitting streak on the line. It'll be Freese, Jay, and Cruz to face Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw in his career, the numbers are staggering. 71 and 43. There's his numbers tonight. 2011 Cy Young Award winner. He went 8 shutout innings in his last outing against the Yankees. And he's a 3-time All-Star. And he's still just 25 years of age.
Yeah, he's pitched so well, but hasn't always been rewarded with wins this year. Trying to seek his 11th win tonight. And in his Cy Young Award year, he was 21 and 5. Just give you an idea how well he's pitched this year. That was an excellent ERA for the Cy Young. It was like 2.25. I got it. It's 2.28, and this year he came in, or tonight he came in with the best ERA in the big leagues.
Just 1.87. Off-speed pitch is high. One walk and 5 strikeouts so far for Kershaw. We mentioned he won the Cy Young in 2011. Rounder to short. Punto throws out David Freese, and the Cy Young Award winners hasn't always been a good thing over the last few years. Some of the guys that have won it have kind of been fading a bit out.
Yeah, last year it was Dickey. Look at, he goes to Toronto, a new ball club. He's only got 9 wins. Kershaw is the exception when you see there with a 1.87 ERA and a 10-6. Webb is out of the game. Carpenter's on the DL. Peavy just got traded, and got a winning record.
Fair ball inside the bag at third. John Jay rounding first, hit at the second, and he'll get there before the throw of Carl Crawford. 1-out double for John Jay.
Well off the plate, and this ball down and in, and you just see hits this ball and didn't have too much chalk on his cue, and right inside the third base bag. So a 1-out double. His 3-game hitting streak is extended.
And this is where the Cardinals have been very good all season long, capitalizing. Runner in scoring position.
But like we were talking about, now you're down to 7, 8, 9. So Kershaw sees how he can escape. With 1 out, Tony Cruz is the real key hitter right here, and he's 2 for his last 8.
Pirates are hosting the Marlins. That game 3-3 in the bottom of the 8th. And Cincinnati is hosting the Oakland A's. Cincinnati leading 3-0 in the 7th.
Can't quite remember who was the starting pitcher for Miami, but it was a very lopsided pitching matchup with Liriano going for the Pirates, and they're, like you said, 3-3, but the Buccos are threatening in the bottom of the 8th.
Miami has played Pittsburgh well at Pittsburgh. Hope that trend continue. Line drive, base hit to center for Cruz. Jay has third, he's headed home. The throw to the plate is not in time. Cardinals take the lead 1-0. RBI base hit, Tony Cruz.
11th RBI. Tony Cruz has a little bit of a 3-game hitting streak, filling in for Yadier Molina. You can't replace Yachty, but he's doing a nice job filling in for him. And he's a catch and throw guy. He's working well with the pitching staff, and now he's chipping in offensively. Mark Ellis, the second baseman, he started to plant his foot and that ball up the middle, and he fell down, but it wouldn't have made any difference. That was going to go through the center field, and Ethier makes a throw, but it's offline, and John Jay scores the first run of this ball game for the Redbirds.
Brings in Pete Kozma. It's interesting to think about your comment about the escape possibility for Clayton Kershaw.
Well, last night, remember, 2-2 ball game. It was the 8th place hitter Punto got a double with 2 outs, and then Greinke drove him in. It ended up to be the winning run.
That was a backbreaker, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely, with first pitch curveball.
Adams' comment after the game, and I agreed wholeheartedly, even when we saw the pitch live, Al, is how can a pitcher hit that pitch? That was a very good curveball, down and away. Now, he didn't hit it hard, but you don't expect a big league pitcher to be able to react to a curveball that way.
And especially first pitches. I don't know if you agree with me, but how rare first pitch strikes are even put in play, let alone go for a hit.
by pitchers.
A lot of people. A lot of people go and foul him off. They'll take a lot of pitches, especially if it's a curveball. But for some reason, and Greinke is a very good hitting pitcher. He's batting over 400.
Cardinals strike first. Bottom of the 5th inning, 1-0.
Remember, Cosman made a little pop up to second base, but he was 3 for 3 off of Kershaw with 2 doubles. Maybe assume that he got a high fastball.
Kershaw has a bit of a herky-jerky delivery, and we see it out of the windup in the stretch both.
As he starts it, there is that little hesitation in there and throw off the timing of a hitter.
2-2 the count. Cosma at the plate. Cruz aboard. Hard hit ball fair. Down the third base line. Pete Cosma has doubled, and the Cardinals threaten for more.
It's a third double for Cosma and 4 hits off of Greinke. Just watch the left fielder. He doesn't know if this ball is going to get by that corner or if it'll go down all the way to the wall. And it goes off the side panel, and he was caught in between. So that guaranteed the second and third outcome. And nice going, Pete Cosma. Nice going, John Jay, Tony Cruz, and Pete Cosma.
Bottom of the order doing some damage for St. Louis. Jay led off with a double. He went the other way. Tony Cruz with a base hit up the middle, and now Pete Cosma has pulled a double. 1 out. Joe Kelly at the plate. He takes strike 1. Kelly pretty decent with the bat.
Would you squeeze here? You got Matt Carpenter, who's a good RBI man, but it's lefty against lefty, and he's 0 for 2 tonight.
Never been a fan of squeezing with a pitcher, but it's certainly a possibility. You're trusting that your pitcher could actually get the job done, and they're important athletes on your squad, but not necessarily with a piece of wood in their hand.
Did you feel that same way when you were playing?
Absolutely. Don't give me that sign. I missed one once. Mike Jorgensen got left out there to be called out. Now working in the front office with the Cardinals. Joe Kelly working the count here against Clayton Kershaw.
I saw Tommy Agee playing with the Cardinals the end of his career. We were in the Astrodome, and the squeeze was on with Kenny Reitz at the plate, and he swung away. He missed the sign, and there was Agee sliding and the bat going right over his head. You couldn't even tell him initially whether it missed him or hit him.
The inside move by Kershaw, attempting to see what was going on.
The Dodgers were thinking a little bit maybe something was going on as Tony Cruz, the pitch before, really bluffed coming down the line.
If you're going to do it, this would be the count.
Yeah.
Kershaw needs a strike. Let's probably throw a fastball. Kelly fouls it back.
3-1 would have been an even better count. And like you say, you've got a nasty pitcher out there that is a strikeout pitcher. It's a tough assignment for most pitchers.
You got Matt Carpenter hitting next.
But, you know, lefty against lefty, and said most cases, it's a right-hander out there, and with the way Carpenter can drive in runs, you wouldn't think about it.
The 2-2 to Kelly. Curveball hit on the ground to the right side, and he is going to score a run. No play at the plate. Good jump by Tony Cruz. And the Cardinals lead 2-0.
Tony Cruz, it was just far enough off the mound that he could tell that it was going to get by the pitcher. And so going on contact, just keep on racing home. Mark Ellis thought about firing home, but then said, I need the sure out. See how Kershaw also falls towards third base, so he was not going to field that ball at all, and the Cardinals get a second run.
I love the instinct of Tony Cruz on that. No hesitation. Teammate reaction. Now Matt Carpenter. Big strike one. Carpenter 0 for 2. Heads up base running by Tony Cruz.
Good hitting by Kelly. Just trying to hit the ball the right side and get that run home.
Isn't that a great example of put it in play, something good might happen? Exactly what Joe Kelly was able to do. Carpenter just 2 for 11 against Kershaw. But another RBI opportunity here. Cosma the runner at third. Ground ball left side. Puto gets Carpenter, but the Cardinals pick up 2 runs on 3 hits. John Jay scoring the first Cardinal run. On to the 6th. Invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow to receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. Stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kremes for this sensational deal.
Our friends at Krispy Kreme must know they're going to get more than 9 hits, because there's 1 dozen for you and another dozen for everybody else in our 50-man crew.
Awesome.
Well, I've already seen you've had 4 of them already.
Sure I have. Just trying to help out
we thank
Krispy Kreme any way I can.
Yeah, we thank them for thinking of us.
You bet. Joe Kelly has been very good tonight. Top of the order, and Carl Crawford. Big week here at Busch Stadium. Nelly bobblehead night tonight. Be Star Wars night tomorrow. We have another theme night, Jewish community night the following night. All kinds of reasons to come out to the ballpark here, as the Cardinals are in game 2 of a 10-game homestand. In fact, they're going to be playing 16 of their next 23 games at home. And after that long road trip, Al, and it's especially the way it started. I know this team is happy to be near that arch over there. Base hit to left down the line, and it's going to go to the corner past Holiday. And Mr. Triple's thinking about 3, but he'll settle with a leadoff double in the Dodgers' 6th. That's Carl Crawford.
So the Dodgers have a payroll of $230 million. They have 10 players that are making at least $11 million this season, including Crawford. And Holiday tries to cut this off, but you see it just slicing away from him, so he's got to go all the way into the corner. Plays it well, but it wasn't going to be until an extra base hit by Carl Crawford. If Joe can't get a little ground ball to Cosma at shortstop, hit hard enough to where Crawford cannot advance.
Ellis has bounced out twice. Takes a fastball high from Kelly. Joe Kelly, by the way, is not on a pitch count. His last time out, he went 102 pitches, and Mike Matheny is saying this week that Joe Kelly is like every other starter at this point. We're going to watch him and let him go, and he'll go as long as he can, and we're not going to count him any different. He is now a starter.
Remember, he got up to 80 pitches one time in relief.
Called Joe Kelly having a time last season where there was maybe a 4-week period where he was our best guy.
Made 16 starts last year. Didn't have a winning record, but he had what, 3.75 ERA, and really did solidify that bullpen, or excuse me, the rotation.
A lot of important innings.
Yes, he did.
Looking for the right way to say it. It's not a criticism, but he was almost forgotten, taken for granted, underestimated, whatever word you want to use to start the season. We didn't see too much of Joe Kelly or hear much about him.
He didn't have a very good spring.
Right.
He was in competition for the 5th spot, and based on what he did last year, you know, he found a home as a long reliever, but early in the season got very few opportunities to pitch. At the very beginning of the season was a little shaky, but once he started getting a couple long relief appearances and really did a nice job, say like going from the 4th inning to pitching 3 to then a couple times he had 5 innings to where he gets you in the second half of, and you didn't use your bullpen up. And then when he got a chance to start, all of a sudden his confidence was soaring.
Even a victim of the Cardinals rotation being so good in the early going.
Yes.
A lot of work.
You know, just rarely step off.
Ground ball up the middle. Carpenter thinks about going to third.
The reason I said step off because he committed an ultimate sin, and that's where he didn't look and see his second baseman was out of position. As Carpenter was trying to bird dog and really was looking for a pickoff play at second base. But it also ended up helping him because that ball up the middle, he was closer to the second base bag than he would have been.
Try the new Egg White Delight McMuffin. Only 250 calories, only at McDonald's. So the Dodgers advance Crawford to third with 1 out. Adrian Gonzalez has bounced out twice, has good power the other way, and has hit very well at Busch Stadium. 373 in his career here in this ballpark. We saw him a lot with San Diego. Of course, a longtime American leaguer as well.
You know, he's also hit Joe Kelly very well. He's 0 for 2 tonight, but 3 for 4 with a double and a home run against Joe. I think they may have gone out there and just told him that, you know, don't do something in an effort to try and preserve the shutout to where you get multiple base runners and end up giving up a big crooked number and maybe another loss. So attack the hitter.
Gonzalez attacks the baseball. RBI base hit to right. Scores Crawford. The Dodgers are on the board.
And I'm sure that Joe Kelly did not want to make this location. I'm not going to second guess the pitch because it's fine if he goes in or out. They're set up away, and look at the ball. Tony Cruz's glove goes right up over the middle of the plate, and it's middle, error in location.
So the pitch count up to 82 for Joe Kelly, and that's the first run he's given up in quite some time. It's still maintaining a 2-1 lead. Talking about Yasiel Puig, how do they pitch this young Dodgers star? What's on tap? Always brought to you by Budweiser. The Cardinals and the Dodgers going at it again tomorrow at 6:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. On the road, Puig has been very, very good. 336 average. He's good everywhere.
Nice. That'll be even better at home with a 371 overall. Very dangerous right here. 0 for 1 with a walk. Randy Choate. This time last year was pitching for the Dodgers after a trade with Hanley Ramirez to LA.
Doesn't seem like it takes him very long to get loose. You'd have to think he's up for Andre Ethier. If Joe Kelly has some problems with Puig, he was 7 for his last 15. You mentioned that batting average, still over 370. We noticed on the road trip when we had the opportunity, Dan and I were given the, you may have seen him on the radio side too there, Al, the player of the month and all the numbers for all the players of the month. He had just 286 in the month of July and is still hitting 370. That shows how fast his start was. Pitch from Kelly is high and away, and Joe now having a little bit of trouble with his fastball.
Remember, I voted for Kershaw, and I think I voted for Puig. Can't remember who won it.
I voted for Worth. Jason Worth had a really good July. Although his team is not playing well. 1-1 is bounced foul. And a number of teams in baseball are really struggling, and really the Phillies on top of that list. They've lost 13 out of their last 14.
Puig was named the National League Player of the Month and National League Rookie Player of the Month in June. First on the scene with 4 home runs in his first 5 major league games. It's not the first assist he got last night, throwing out runners.
And won't be his last. 1-2 the count to Puig. Kelly taking his time, and the pitch home is in the dirt. Nice job by Tony Cruz. Pirates and the Marlins still tied at 3. That game now in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the Oakland A's haven't found any offense yet against Cincinnati. They trail 3-0 in that series at Great American Ballpark. That game now in the 9th as well. Phillies are leading the Cubs 8-5, and the Phillies, as I mentioned, have lost 13 out of 14, but the Cubs have lost 7 of 8. And we'll see them on this homestand.
Only 1 pitch away from being out of this ball game.
Agreed.
He's averaged 5 2/3 innings per start.
Just about there. 87 pitches. Laboring some here in the 6th. Could use another one of those double plays that pitchers love so much.
And Seth Maness, the double play machine, is thrown in the bullpen also.
The 3-2. There goes the runner. Hard hit to left, base hit. Gonzalez is going to stop at second. So 3 hits in the inning for the Dodgers. Puig very, very talented. And one of his style points is to throw the bat after he hits one hard. That's it for Joe Kelly. Nice job for Kelly, matching Kershaw. Cardinal fans agree. Hour Sports Network, Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live sports. All the news and highlights you want, and shows and specials that only Fox could bring you. America's new sports network is Fox Sports 1, and it's coming on August 17th. Our pitching lines for our starters here tonight, Kershaw and Kelly.
Pretty similar, and you might look at Kelly and say he's outpitched him. Going to be up to the bullpen and Randy Schoch. No brainer to bring in Randy Schoch to face Andre Ethier. He is 0 for 8 against him with 3 strikeouts.
Cardinals would prefer the double play to the strikeout here, but they'll take either one.
That's Seth Maness. He's still warming up, so it could be a one-batter affair. Chevy called to the bullpen, the veteran Randy Schoch is appearing for the 42nd time, 1-1 record, 2.70 ERA, and opponents are batting .217 against him.
Play Ethier to pull on the infield, and they shade him a bit the other way in the outfield. Kind of medium depth for Ethier.
Sure, I would have my left side of my infield like this, the way Schoch really drops down and throws a lot of breaking balls to the outer half to a left-hand hitter.
The 0-1.
Schoch drops down from the side. Left-handed batter. We'll see that release point out there, and it looks like he's throwing it almost to the middle of their back, and that one was painful to watch his elbow.
Yes. Well, most things we do now, Al, are painful. Most movements. The 1-1 pitch just misses. Wow. Very close. Wow.
Could have gone either way, and
could be a difference maker too. Up in the count, down in the count. There's the numbers you were talking about. Will Schoch get his man? The 2-1 pitch. On the inside corner, says Jim Joyce. And the count's even at 2. Just missed away. Just got it in. Now do you come back in? Do you go away? The proverbial cat and mouse game between pitcher and catcher. Or maybe throw that wrinkle at him.
And, you know, every now and then Randy will repeat that fastball back inside, and with the hitter diving across the plate.
Good pitch to get a double play with.
Tried to go back in there, but the ball was away. And we got the full count.
So what do the Dodgers do? Gonzalez and Puig, the runners.
If he loses him, I think you've got to bring in Seth Baines, don't you?
I would say if he gets him,
bring him in.
you bring in Seth Baines.
Either way, this is the last pitch probably.
As his sign, checks the runner. The 3-2 from Choate. Hard hit, base hit to right field. Beltran comes on, picks it up, gets it in a hurry. Gonzalez can't score, but now the bases are loaded for the Dodgers as they get their 4th hit of the inning. Gonzalez, who does not run well, not able to score on that base hit.
Remember a similar play last night. Ethier upset with that. It was Puig who got upset that on his double he didn't score.
Cardinals need that double play machine. That means they need Seth Baines. Autograph nights. That's Wednesday, August 7th. The Cardinals will be taking on the Dodgers. Fans 20 and under can get autographs from former current players. For more details, visit cardinals.com/promotions. Key moment in this game. Cardinals call on Seth Baines. Our Chevy call to the bullpen.
Talk about how he is just a double play machine. He leads the National League with 11.
And he's also a strike machine.
Throws a lot of strikes, so he's usually pitching ahead of the count. People rolling over on him. A.J. Ellis is 0 for 2, 2 ground outs against Seth Baines. Catcher. So good opportunity for the double play to escape this jam.
You've heard me talk, Al, about my favorite double play.
I'm sure I have.
The 1-2-3.
Oh,
it's my favorite one.
that's your favorite one?
And when's the last time we saw one of those?
Been a while, hasn't it?
About now. Check swing, but he foul tipped it. So 1-2 now the count to Ellis. Baines does not throw particularly hard, but he has kind of a sneaky fastball. Ball has good movement, late movement. Players just continue to hit the top of the baseball. They can't square him up very well. Ahead in the count 1-2. Cruz set up outside. Ground ball left side. Cosma to Carpenter. On
into first, double play. Manus does it again. Incredible. Seth Manus induces a double play, and the Cardinals get out of it. Bottom of the sixth, 2-1 St. Louis, thanks to Seth Manus delivering this ground ball double play. Started by Kozma. In the middle is Carpenter, and at the end is Alan Craig. The focus and concentration of Matt Carpenter and the sliding ether. What a moment.
Seth Manus, that's 12 double plays, and it's getting to the point where sometimes you go, okay, he can't continue doing
That's
this,
right.
but he does.
You're exactly right.
Remember, he's got 5 wins, 12 big double plays, and they were all crucial.
Beltran flares this one to right, handled by Puig. Quick out here in the 6th inning. There's Seth Manus, and again, not an overpowering guy, comes out of the bullpen and just continues to get the job done.
It's kind of like a right-handed specialist, like we talked about a left-hander, but just getting ground ball double plays. And of course, Dodgers tonight have hit into 4. That's why we still have the 1-run lead.
Cardinals continue to lead the league in that department, turning double plays, now at 134. It's 30 more than the Dodgers have turned.
You know, the Cardinals have hit into a bunch of double plays because
Right.
they have so many people on base. And they got a lot of ground ball hitters, you know, guys that are low ball hitters that will hit the ball extremely hard on the ground, and some will go through for base hits, others go for double plays.
Also like the fact that that double play really protects the strong outing of Joe Kelly.
Yep. Well, he turned 3. Seth has 1. Dodgers have turned 2 against the Cardinals in this game. So 6 double plays have been a big factor.
Four games against the Dodgers, 3 against the Chicago Cubs, and the homestand concludes with 3 against the newly crowned Central Division rival. I would say we'd have to say there's a big rivalry going on now with the Pittsburgh Pirates, who've won their game tonight.
Won their game late, 4-3. You buy into the fact, you know, when clubs are going to go to postseason, they win an awful lot of late inning games.
Oh, yeah.
Come from behind games.
What the Pirates are doing.
They're doing a lot of them. The Cardinals need to start winning against teams that are 500 and above. When they beat the Dodgers, they were sub 500. Taking 2 out of 3 out in that way.
Cardinals certainly have had a dynamic offense this season, been really good with runners in scoring position, and Mike Matheny has really seen his lineup from top to bottom be productive. But you wouldn't say that the Cardinals have had scores of late game comeback wins. I mean, I can't think of very many of them. Maybe that time's coming.
Well, here's what we're talking about, that just kind of walk-off wins. Cardinals have 1 this year. They've been involved in 3 losses. Wins in your final at bat. Cardinals have 5. They've given up 10. Only 18 come from behind wins on the year, and we're not very good in extra innings.
Time for that to change. 2-2. Craig stays alive.
Well, the Cardinals really have to take advantage of the home schedule. And it's 31 home games, including tonight, and only 20 road games. Cardinals had a monster of a road schedule this year. The last of the 5 10-game road trips, 10-day road trips, are over.
That's all that was, 10 days. Ground ball right side, off balance swing by Craig. And Gonzalez takes it himself. 2 outs for the Cardinals here in the 6th. And we look at our Twitter poll. Who is the best lefty in the National League right now? And Clayton Kershaw wins in a landslide.
I think I agree with every one of those. Where I'd place them. Kershaw first, Liriano second, Corbin, and then Lee.
Liriano was so good in Pittsburgh.
And he started tonight's ball game. Florida got 3 runs off him, but Pirates eventually win it.
Off balance swing by Alan Craig looks like this.
Back leg kind of, front leg stiff, back leg sliding up and off balance.
See the vibration on the bat on that particular swing.
He's out, not in control, and kind of probably reaching for it with his hands loose.
Those swings where you're fooled and your body goes one way and your hands go another. Of course, that's the pitcher's job, to try to make that happen.
It's time with Steve Lyons, Dodger broadcast during Cardinals BP, and they were just marveling at the velocity of the ball coming off the bat from Holiday, and just how line drives and never got more than 10-15 feet off the ground, with just ricocheting into left field seats. I'd love to see one of those right now.
Both Holiday and David Freese have really started to come around with the bat. Matt's 0 for 2 tonight, struck out twice, but always dangerous at bat.
There you go.
That ball was hit hard to left. 2-out single for Holiday, and that brings in David Freese.
He was hitting in the 320s, 21 home runs against the Dodgers. Remember, he started his career with Colorado, playing in the National League West. David needs to extend his 6-game hitting streak. Maybe he'll get one of those pitches away, and he can drive it out to right center, where he has his good power.
Cardinals bunched their hits in the 5th inning when they scored 2 runs off of Kershaw. Strike on the inside corner. John Jay doubled with 1 out. Then Tony Cruz drove him in. And following a Pete Kozma double, Joe Kelly hit a bouncer to the right side that scored Cruz. There's the Dodgers defense. A lot of room up the middle for Freese. other than that 5th inning, not a lot of trouble for Clayton Kershaw. He's been in command. I guess not surprising.
And he's benefited from 2 double plays. But
the 1-1 check swing fouled off. 1-2. Saw Bernard Gilkey here at the ballpark. Former Cardinal.
oh, I know Bernard very well.
He was here with his sons, and his brother was here, and Bernard was around the batting cage before the game today, and one of his sons is going to play college baseball out in Arizona. He's going to play at Central Arizona. Nice young man.
Good. Bernard, a hometown Cardinal, and I think he just kind of signed his, kind of like a little PR move or something like that, but he worked hard and made himself a good hitter and got to the big leagues and played for quite a few years.
Very good hitter. I asked his boys if they knew how good a hitter their dad was, and if he shows them kind of the old video of his best moments, and they said, oh yeah. We had fun with that. They're very proud of their dad, as they should be. 1-2 the count to David Freese, another hometown product, as he hits with 2 outs.
Shot, good ratio. Strikes to balls, 58 strikes, 25 balls.
Short lead by Holiday, and the 2-2 fouled off. We'll do it again. Nice crowd on hand here tonight. Dodgers and Cardinals, outstanding rivalry. 2 teams steeped in tradition. Think about all the great Dodger players, whether it be from Brooklyn or out in Los Angeles. And of course, the Cardinals have their long list of Hall of Famers. Curveball low, and for those who have not seen the movie 42, I would highly recommend that. Story of Jackie Robinson. I've seen it a couple of times, and I think if you're a baseball fan and want to know a little bit more about the history of baseball and just how important Jackie Robinson as a member of the Brooklyn Dodgers was to the game of baseball and to our country, I highly recommend watching that movie. 3-2 to Freese. Holiday will be moving. Kershaw set, and the pitch, and it's low. Freese reaches on a walk to extend the inning to John Jay.
Second walk of the night for Kershaw. Dodgers trying to win their 16th consecutive road games. The Cardinals running into a tough customer here. Rick Honeycutt, excellent pitching coach, former Cardinal, along with a few other clubs, but he was a good pitcher in his own right, and he's become an outstanding pitching coach.
John Jay had a big at-bat his last time at the plate. In fact, we're going to call it our Nissan drive of the game, and just look what he does with this pitch down and in, taking it the other way, dropping the bat head.
It's that bat head out in fair territory, and so it just sliced down the left field, inside the third base bag, down into the left field corner, and cut off that sidewall.
And the Cardinals could use another one of those. First pitch to Jay is right down central, strike 1.
You had to be ready for that one, didn't you? Talked about be ready for the first fastball, and he let one down the middle go.
Two to 1 Cardinals. Trying to beat a very tough customer in Clayton Kershaw. And the pitch count starting to get up for Kershaw, although he is such a durable guy. You just really don't think about him ever coming out of a game. He goes deep in games. 8 innings his last time out against the Yankees. The 1-1 to Jay. Line drive to left field, but right at Carl Crawford. So the Cardinals strand 2. We go to the 7th. 2-1 St. Louis. Canvas printed courtesy of Coke Zero. Friday, August 23rd, when the Cardinals take on the division-leading Atlanta Braves, the first 25,000 fans will receive a limited edition Cardinals canvas print. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
DP man, he's back out there, and behind him is looks like Rosenthal and Sechrist. Seth is really, I mean, tonight is his 40th appearance. He's really been used quite a bit by Mike Matheny, and rightfully so. He's done the job. Skip Schumacher.
Seven, 8, and 9 for the Dodgers. Have we seen the last of Clayton Kershaw?
They get a run here, we probably have. Their bullpen isn't anything to sneeze at either.
That's Schumacher going into the tunnel to take some swings. We may see Skip pinch hit. Line drive down the left field line, and it's fair. Off the bat of Juan Uribe. This will be a stand-up double. And the 7th inning starts the same way the 6th inning does for the Dodgers, with a leadoff double.
Well, we talked about Seth. You know, he's going to give up his fair share of hits, but his ability to get a ground ball, a lot of times he's turning 2, but unfortunately Uribe gets a double. The ball stays up. Now you can see the movement, but it was about thigh high when he hit it, and so that's going to be more of a line drive than it was. Junto's a switch hitter, but you would prefer to have him bat left-handed.
Bunting situation in front of the plate. Cruz has it to throw to third, and they've got it. A big out here in the 7th inning as Tony Cruz does his best impersonation of Yadier Molina.
I was thinking the same thing. And right there, Uribe really didn't get a good jump. Yachty's smiling about it, but he pounced on that ball, and you know, instead of going safety, it goes the force of the good way. But look at how much time Freese has to get that ball and then be in a position to get Uribe. He tries to go around the tag, never got to the base. Skip Schumacher is 1-for-1, and so Mike Matheny's not going to let him face Manus. 1-for-1 against Manus. Like Mike almost started going out there too soon before he was called. His name was called.
It's been announced now, so Manus will leave. There's Schumacher. And he'll face that guy, the hard-throwing left-hander, Kevin Segrist. Look at our Subway in-game box score. The Cardinals have managed just 6 hits here tonight, but they did bunch 3 of them in the 5th inning. RBI single by Tony Cruz, a big hit in that inning. And Tony Cruz just made a very nice play behind the plate to get the lead runner on a bunt attempt and made that man smile.
Can't play this game afraid to make a mistake. And Tony Cruz didn't. There you go. Segrist, you see he's preparing for the 20th time. ERA at 1. 24 strikeout, 8 walks. And batter is only batting .086 against it. Skip doesn't hit left-handers particularly well.
What a nice round of applause he got here last night. That was fun to watch.
A lot of people remember very favorably how well Skip wore the Cardinal uniform.
Segrist, a good live fastball on the outside corner. And some Schumacher fans at the ballpark here tonight. They have not forgotten.
Lauren with her sign yesterday and today for Schumacher. Lauren, one of Albert Pujols' special kids. Segrist and Tony Cruz went to the same junior college, Long Beach Community College, but they didn't play together. Segrist came a year after Tony. Tony was a third baseman, second baseman. He was actually drafted by the Dodgers out of high school, or draft and follow, so they never really made an offer to him.
Good, solid fastball again on the outside corner to get ahead of Schumacher. And a lefty on deck in Carl Crawford. Dodgers have spread out their left-handers in their lineup, so decision time coming up for Mike Matheny, just how he's going to use his bullpen the rest of the way. You mentioned Rosenthal.
Well,
ready.
He gets out of this inning pretty much as Rosenthal and Malika. for the 8th and 9th with a lead and go home.
It's a good plan, Al.
All right, a winning script every night.
You do.
Just sometimes it gets lost in the translation.
Make sure you tell the post-game folks that.
I already looked the scenario for them.
Nice. 1-2 the count. And the pitch to Schumacher. Grounded to the left side. Freeze has it. The second for one. On to first. Not in time. Ball was not hit very hard by Schumacher. Punto does a nice job of breaking it up. Just didn't have a sense that could be yet another Cardinal double play, but they made the effort.
Well, he backed up on that, Freeze backed up, and that cost him a little time. And Punto goes in, goes right after the man, but all clean and good hard-nosed baseball. Remember also the Cardinals were the ones that took out Mark Ellis and ended up having a very life-threatening couple years ago play where he ended up having a blood clot in his leg, and they wouldn't have got him to the hospital at the right time. He could have been
that was
very,
scary.
very serious.
Yeah, you bet. Carl Crawford doubled in the 6th inning and later scored the lone Dodger run. Dodgers started this inning out with a double, and then Tony Cruz threw Juan Uribe out at third on a bunt attempt. Huge play in this game. Seager's trying to finish the inning. Late swing, fouled back.
Think about it, Ricky, how important bunts have been in this series. The
Very
first
much
two
so.
games. And if you execute fundamentals, you got a good chance to win.
The 1-1. Line drive down the left field line, foul. Thankfully, slicing foul. Crawford has 2 hits tonight.
I feel Crawford just so thankful to be away from Boston.
Not sure how thankful he was to be in LA the first month of the season. Things weren't going very well there either.
No, he was coming back off of the elbow
Right.
surgery and had some complications in spring training, so trying to get back in playing shape.
With the team struggling, a team with a lot of payroll and not much results, things were so going in the wrong direction for the Dodgers, but they have certainly turned it around. The Cardinals, on the other hand, had a very good start to the season. And they really haven't looked back very much other than that little blip on that last road trip. 2-2 the count. Seagerist ready. And the pitch. Just misses the outside corner. Dodgers have out hit the Cardinals 8-6. Seagrist trying to send us to the 7th inning stretch. The full count delivery is outside for a ball. A 2-out walk, and those are so dangerous. And it looks like we're going to have another pitching change. Seagrist loses Crawford. Cardinals will do a double switch. And while Joyce and Matheny talk that over, Trevor Rosenthal enters the ballgame. rewind. Clayton Kershaw and Joe Kelly, the starters. Both of them pitched well. Kelly just a bit better, and Tony Cruz has contributed on both sides. Offensively, 1 for 2 with an RBI, and he scored the go-ahead run for St. Louis. And he's also helped defensively. Trevor Rosenthal is our Chevy call to the bullpen.
51st appearance. He's got 1 win and 3 decisions. He's second in the National League with his holds. ERA at 2.25, and opponents are hitting .337 against him. Mark Ellis is 0 for 1 against Rosenthal.
Key moment here. Rosenthal takes a throw to second base. Carpenter covering. Trevor with a plus fastball. And at times a very good and above average changeup.
Yeah. He's second in the National League and second to Jansen in strikeouts among National League relievers.
Ellis has bounced out 3 times. Fastball high, 2-0. Schumacher, the runner at second base. Carl Crawford at first. Daniel Descalzo has entered the game as part of a double switch. Rosenthal hitting in David Freese's spot. 2-0 the count. Way high, and he's not even close with those last 2 deliveries. 3-0.
Rosenthal last pitched on Sunday in Cincinnati. He had a real clean 1-2-3 8th inning. And Mojica haven't got a lot of work on that road trip, but he should be fine after throwing on Sunday.
There's a strike. Well, the Cardinals would either win by 13 or lose, so you didn't have your 8th and 9th inning guys really a factor. And as you said, you got to find some work for him somewhere. Jams it, popped up towards left. Out goes the shortstop. Cosma has it. Good job, Trevor Rosenthal. Time to stretch. Cardinals lead the Dodgers 2-1. Left-hander is J.P. Howell out of the Dodger bullpen. Our Chevy call to the bullpen. He's been in 46 games and been a part of a very good Dodger pen. two lefties out there. We saw Paco Rodriguez in game 1, and it's Howell here tonight. And he will face 7, 8, 9 for the Cardinals. Tony Cruz has been a big part of this game in many ways. He's handled Joe Kelly, probably job number 1.
You know, there is no way to replace Yadier Molina.
Right.
But, you know, Tony Cruz has done a very credible job. He worked very, very hard to sit in on all those pitchers' meetings with Yadi and the starting pitcher for all those years, and always kept himself ready. Not a bad little hitter. And carrying 3 catchers when Yadi comes back, you'll get some pitch hitting time.
Hard hit. Stumbling is Uribe, bounces up and throws out Cruz. So Howell gets his first man.
JP's got a good arm too.
Sure does.
Paco Rodriguez got the save last night. Their other left-hander in the bullpen.
Can I say I'm still happy that Clayton Kershaw's out of this game?
Yes, you can. And I am too.
Good. That makes 2 of us.
I enjoyed watching him pitch.
Right.
And I'm glad
it's over.
He's over.
Cosma lines this one to right. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Puig does not seem too worried about anything, does he, the way he plays this game?
No, I mean,
very relaxed.
You know, one of the things that because of Gonzalez the last 2 games has been in front of him, we haven't seen him, as they say, very wild on the base pass. Now, they said he runs the bases like Rex Hudler. Runs them until they tag him out.
There's only one Rex Hudler.
he was entertaining, wasn't he?
Oh my, fun teammate. Non-stop energy. I'm betting he takes this pitch. What do you think?
Nope. First plate appearance. You know, it's like a pinch hitter. You come up there and we got 3 strikes. Don't waste them. A lot of guys like to take that first one and see what it looks like in the batter's box.
Schumacher has stayed in the game. He's playing second base. The pitcher Howell will bat in the second spot.
I'm sure Skip Schumacher was looking forward to seeing the reaction we get here and knew it'd be a very positive, and it has been the last 2 nights. Very popular player here in St. Louis. Play the game the right way.
There's something to be said when you're kind of around the team on a daily basis, you know, and fans are going to be fans of the best players, and they should be. I mean, they're going to look at the production of Beltran and Craig, and you're going to form your favorite player. Of course, Yadier Molina is everybody's favorite, but there's something to be said for a guy who is a good player, not a great player, but a great teammate, and that is Skip Schumacher.
And maybe the biggest glove I've ever seen for a second baseman is really an outfielder's glove. I asked Skip yesterday because he was very close with Adam Wainwright, and I knew he wasn't in the lineup, but I said, you probably look forward to this, and he goes, well, I had good success against him in the minor leagues, but he said he's a much better pitcher than when he was in the minor leagues. You ever had to face a good friend?
Oh yeah.
What
Van Slyke, my former roommate. Well, he got a hit off me, and so the next time up, I got a hit 0-2, and I threw it under his chin. And then I struck him out. And then he got another hit off.
You know, Tim McCarver was very good to me, and we had a lot of good times. And then first time I had to face him, he got a base hit off me, and I kind of said, you know, I learned a lesson, because I kind of relaxed a little bit, knowing he was a friend. Now, he wasn't relaxed against me, But I said, okay, I learned a lesson right there. And, you know, maybe you got to do, like you say, you kind of intimidate them a little bit or do something to say, hey, I respect you, the way you play the game, but get your hits on the next guy.
I had too small a margin of error to relax at all against anybody, including pitchers. The 2-2 to Descalzo. Misses inside. Good movement, but off the plate. So Daniel works the count. Daniel, a good teammate as well. Guys like having him around.
Like his versatility and come up with a couple big home runs and on the road.
You're not going to be an everyday player in baseball today. They better be able to check that box, good teammate and versatility, or you're in trouble. Call third strike. Descalzo knew it. 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 8th. Cardinals lead by 1. Our studio with this Bomberito Sports Update. Thanks, Pat. Not the news we wanted, but a 4-3 Pirate victory. Means the Cardinals need to pick up a victory to stay two games out. The longest road winning streaks all time. We've talked about the Dodgers being as good as those 57 Reds. Really an amazing streak for this club, and it's in jeopardy here tonight.
And win for the 16th time on the road in succession. You know, I mean, that's just, it's tough to do that at home, let alone on the road trip. There's a couple road trips involved in that.
Rosenthal missing high again. That brings Tony Cruz to the mound.
Overly strong, maybe.
Could be. Release point just a tad off. And you can't make mistakes in this inning because you're facing the heart of the Dodgers order. Gonzalez, Puig, and Ethier. The 2-0 delivery hit hard but foul.
Gonzalez is 0 for 1 against Rosenthal. Puig's never faced him, and Ethier is 1 for 3.
Gonzalez is a bit of an enigma as a player to me, Al, because he doesn't move well sometimes, or like around the bases doesn't run well, but he's a smooth fielding first baseman. And he's got really good bat speed. Turned on that 2-0 pitch, he can hit.
I think he's one of those guys that when you see him, you know, for just one series at home, one away, you know, he really impresses you. a very good hitter. Like you said, he's, he can field his position. All-star, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, all these different things. But when you start seeing him on an everyday basis, you start seeing the warts. And running speed is one thing that kind of clogs up the bases. He's still a very good hitter. At the remainder of the Dodgers schedule, they don't play Pittsburgh, so they can't really help us there. They do play 3 games against Cincinnati on the road.
Fly ball to left, long way to go for everybody. Who's got it? Matt Holliday has it.
That's a mismatch right there. Cosma felt the brunt of running into the wall of Holliday. He's okay, but need a little better communication. Cosman keeps on going out because apparently he never heard Holliday call him off.
And when those two collided, which one did you think was going to fall down?
Cosma. Matt better watch out though, because Cosma's, he's Hungarian, so we might gang up on him. But of course, if Holliday's got it on top of Cosma, I'm gonna help Holliday.
Yeah, I don't think Matt's too worried about either of you two, frankly. Did you say pound for pound the strongest Cardinal?
Yes, by
yeah,
far.
me too.
And a guy I don't think he'd want to get mad. Handles himself extremely well, real professional, but if you ever lost control, look out with that strength.
Yasiel Puig. Not a lot of movement at the plate. Certainly brings a lot of emotion and flair. Some may like, some may not.
Reminds me a little bit some of his size and maybe a little bit of his mannerism of Felix Jose. Remember Felix Jose?
I sure do.
Man with no language.
Didn't realize that.
Even the Dominicans couldn't understand it.
Swing and a miss. He strikes out Puig. High, hard one. Those two will go at it, we hope, for years to come. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. That was fun to watch.
Going up and in on him.
100 here, hit it.
And he throws 89-mile-an-hour changeup. Mentioned Ethier 1 for 3 off of Trevor.
A lot of good moments out of the Cardinals bullpen so far in relief of Joe Kelly.
Pitch there in on the hands.
Seth Maness, a critical double play to end the 6th toward a Dodger rally. That's when they scored their run.
20 pitches, 15 of them have been over 95. Another off-speed pitch. throws his fastball, it's going to be over 95.
The 2-2. Another changeup. This one misses low. Full count to Ethier. A.J. Ellis would hit next. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Another changeup from Rosenthal. And as exciting as that pitch was, I like this fastball to Puig. Here, hit it. Bottom of the 8th. 2-1 St. Louis. West is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some Bud. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Double plays have been the stories here tonight. The Cardinals have turned 4 of them. 5-4-3. That came in the early going. Pete Kozma in the middle of a couple double plays up the middle, including taking one himself. And Matt Carpenter also a big part of those double plays, and you have to credit the pitchers for inducing them as well.
So Kelly had 3 while he was out there. Seth Maness, the double machine, he got his 12th of the year. He's all National League relievers.
An insurance run would be nice for the Cardinals here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Top of the order, and Matt Carpenter. Carpenter looking for his first hit tonight. Facing the lefty, J.P. Howell. Slow roller to second. Carpenter retired. Slow walk for Don Mattingly, wanting to make sure his pitcher is ready. He wants the right-hander to face Beltran, turn him to the left side. bullpen, Brandon League, right-hander, is 6-3. And he has been a part of late innings for the Dodgers, along with Kenley Jensen.
And Jensen's the closer now, but League early in the season was getting opportunities. He was successful on 14 of 18 save opportunities. Won 6 of his last 7 decisions, and 3-0 with 8 2/3 scoreless innings of the last 7 appearances. Only just 4 hits during that time.
And they turned Beltran around. Carlos had been 2 for 2 against the left-hander Howell, maybe part of the decision to bring in the right-hander League. Carlos really is so good from both sides of the plate. I would say you have to almost check what's he done lately.
So for 1 off of League. League is 30 years of age. He's a California kid. Born in Sacramento, makes his home in San Diego.
Good live fastball at the knees to Beltran, 3-1.
He's a ground ball specialist.
Well hit to right. Back goes the right fielder, playing, and it's gone! Home run, Carlos Beltran, number 354 in his career.
His 20th this season, 14 of those from the left side of the plate, and his 60th RBI, a very important insurance run. One pitch, boy, hitter's eyes light up when that get that count.
20th home run of the season for Carlos Beltran, and it's a big one here tonight.
There, low ball hitter, drops that bat head, and then watch his wrist and the follow through with the swing. Really pretty.
Maybe not such a good idea to turn Carlos Beltran around. He has 14 of his 20 home runs from the left side, but certainly more at bats. Really kind of even distribution in terms of number at bats left and right.
Yeah.
Average a little higher from the left side.
279 right-handed. There's 311 coming in here left-handed. Natural side is the right side of the plate, and that's why a lot of times you'll see switch hitters, they'll have more power from the right side, but as young players that could run, they want to become switch hitters, they turn them around.
Greg waves at a slider. He strikes out for the first time tonight. He's 1 for 4, and that brings in Matt Holliday with 2 outs. Al, it's just almost impossible to explain how critical, and you mentioned it, the insurance run, how critical the difference is between 2-1, 2-1, and 3-1.
Oh yeah, because you know, you 2-1, every batter standing in there is somewhat in scoring position. You know, as a threat, you got a little leeway, and you have the extra cushion. Chief will be trying to get his 31st save, and that's, he had no save opportunities on the road, and I think he went through what, twice in 11 games.
Holliday reaches. We will see Matt Adams pinch hit for the pitcher spot. left-hander getting loose for the Dodgers. They've already used J.P. Howell. They used, as you mentioned, Paco Rodriguez for a couple of innings here last night. The 2-1. Not even close, and League really struggling with his command here in the 8th. We're going to see Shelby Miller and Ricky Nolasco in game 3 of this series. Ryu and Westbrook in the finale on Thursday. Another 3-1 pitch, this time to Matt Holliday, and this time it's low. So we will see Matt Adams pitch hitting here in the 8th. Been a very valuable pinch hitter, part-time player for the Cardinals. He's going to have a pinch runner for Holliday. That's Adrian Chambers.
And Adams leads the ball club with 9 pinch hits, including 2 pinch hit home runs.
Good lead for Chambers. And Ellis asks for time. Adams' average has dipped under 300, but still very good numbers for him. 8 home runs, 32 RBIs in part-time play. And he takes the first pitch low for a ball. League is throwing hard, but he's not hitting his spots. Amazing how a pitcher doesn't hit his spot, then they throw a strike and it's right down the middle. Happens a lot, doesn't it?
You miss, and then you hope to miss in the strike zone, and you groove one right into someone's wheelhouse. And one of the better ground ball pitchers out of National League relievers.
Carlos Beltran has given the Cardinals an insurance run here in the 8th inning, his 20th home run and 60th RBI of the season.
League has been in the American League prior to coming to the Dodgers late last season. Toronto, Seattle. He had 37 saves one year for Seattle.
I'm just kidding when I say this, Al, but I'm kind of glad to see that Carlos Beltran didn't bunt this time.
And I think that it'll help make the point to Mike that Mike Matheny was making too.
I think
Carlos,
so.
you could have hit a 3-run home run.
Maybe so. Late swing by Adams, and of course we're referring to last night's game when Carlos bunted, sacrifice, unselfishly moving a couple runners up, and questionable whether or not that was the right thing to do. Water under the bridge, move on, and what does Beltran do here in the 8th inning but help his club with the bat and the long ball. I'd like to see Chambers run, but I also want to see Adams hit. The 2-2 to Adams is hit deep to right. Will it stay fair? You bet it does. Home run Adams. His 3rd pinch hit home run of the season. And the Cardinals tack on 2 more in the 8th.
said, "Who's that guy?" Mark McGuire probably told Don Mattingly, he said, "This kid has a bright future ahead of him," and I'm talking about Matt Adams. And now they're going to go to Carlos Marmol.
Tough night for League, but a good night for Matt Adams and the Cardinals. Kiss it goodbye. Usual uniform. Used to seeing him with the Cubs. Carlos Marmol has caught on with the Dodgers, and he takes over here in the 8th inning. And a bit of a work in progress, maybe a bit of an experiment for the Dodgers.
Yeah, they sent him to the minor leagues. They thought he had a mechanical flaw that they corrected. So they brought him back up here for the Dodgers.
Certainly has some upside.
Yeah, he's still got a great arm. He's made 3 appearances with the Dodgers, allowing 4 runs in 3 2/3 innings. So it hasn't been figured out completely.
Hard ground ball by John Jay, and Marmol gets an out with 1 pitch. And that'll send us to Mohican time. The 9th inning. Cardinals lead by 4.
In St. Louis, coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Jimmy Ballgame are at Lumiere Place. Joe Kelly keeping the Dodger bats quiet. They'll look at his night. How good has Tony Cruz been in Yadi's absence? They'll crunch some numbers. and Edward Mojica on to pitch for the Cardinals. We send it back to the booth and Rick and Al, guys.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate your work today. 5-1 St. Louis. Mojica not a save situation, but he will pitch the ninth for the Cardinals. Has not had a lot of work lately.
Well, you see right there, he hadn't pitched since August 1st on Thursday in Pittsburgh, and that was just a game like this, but where he needed some work to come in here and stay sharp. He has 9 saves, 2 wins in his last 12 games. 2-1 on the season. ERA under 2, second in the National League with his 30 saves, and he just hasn't had a save opportunity since we were on the last homestand right out of the All-Star break.
Ellis, Uribe, and Punto for the Dodgers, who are 3 outs away from losing on the road for the first time in a very long time. 15 straight road wins. They're trailing by 4, facing one of the top closers in the National League this year in Mojica.
A.J. Ellis is 0 for 3 against Mojica.
Crowd really has enjoyed this game here tonight. Cardinals, as we mentioned, very happy to be back at home. The road trip, a bit of a struggle to say the least, but it finished well with 2 out of 3 against the Cincinnati Reds.
And Rick, you think about the pitching matchup today. Everybody's excited, but you kind of think, if you're a Cardinal fan, you think with Clayton Kershaw on the mound and a dominating pitcher that it's going to be a tough game for the Cardinals.
Right.
If the Cardinals hang on and win this game, and we think they are at 5-1, Kershaw will have a 4-5 record against St. Louis. Not many clubs can say that. And Joe Kelly would be winning his 3rd straight game.
Kershaw pitched well enough to win. 6 innings, 2 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, but Joe Kelly gave up just 1 run in 5 1/3 innings. And got a lot of help from Seth Maness, who really made the pitch of the game. Ground ball up the middle. Whoa, what a play by Mojica. Is he going to throw him out from there? Yeah, he is. How about that? Degree of difficulty 3.9. Well, you can't teach that.
No, but teach somebody to field their position. Goes up there and look, he loses balance, falls down, and then from the seat of his pants, he throws a strike over to Alan Craig. They're going to check on him, but more importantly, they'll probably let a towel, let him dry off his arm, or maybe get a little dirt there. But if foot goes out from underneath him and he loses balance.
You hope it's just the kind of the hard fall that they're worried about there, and better than wrenching his back or anything else.
I think he just kind of laughed it off, like, a little more embarrassed than hurt.
Pretty good play, though.
Nothing to be embarrassed about. He made the play.
Well, you're in a vulnerable position on the mound. We saw that earlier with Clayton Kershaw.
We both had a lot of practice charging line drives.
Oh boy, they get to you pretty fast.
Reminds me one day, Mark McGuire was hitting and doing the game with Dan, and he looks down at the third baseman. He says, "Oh my gosh, look at how close that third baseman is." I said, "Dan, look at the pitcher."
Right, exactly.
He's 55 feet away when he releases the ball. And the guy was playing, 90 feet away at the minimum.
And ready for it.
And you're a pitcher like a moving target, and got to throw it and then get ready to field something.
The 1-2. Opt out of play. Uribe doubled and was out on another big play in this game. We talked about the double play that Seth Maness induced in the 6th inning, but the bunt attempt by Nick Punto that Tony Cruz pounced on and threw Uribe out at third, also a big play in this game. Ground ball left side. Tough play for Descalzo. Got to move his feet. He does. And throws out Uribe. So the Cardinals 1 out away. Our Budweiser player of the game, and we're going to give it to the Cardinals starting pitcher here tonight, Joe Kelly.
And not only did he pitch well, but look at on the bottom, the RBI ground out was the difference in this ball game. That was the second run, and that held up until the Cardinals got 3 more in the bottom of the 8th inning. So we did it at both ends, offensively and defensively. Joe Kelly had an outstanding game.
Base hit to right by Punto extends the game.
His second hit, he's 2 for 3 as he continues to hit Cardinal pitching.
And gives us one more look at Skip Schumacher. Reached on a forced play, pinch hitting for Kershaw in the 7th inning.
Skip is 1 for 5, a double off of Mojica.
Ground ball right side. Carpenter has it. On to Craig. And that's a Cardinal winner. Carlos Beltran, an 8th inning home run. Mojica finishes it out. The Dodgers streak ends. And Joe Kelly picks up another victory.
This was a good team victory. You had guys coming off the bench to contribute. You got a good start from Joe Kelly. A mismatched pitching matchup, but he didn't let that bother him at all. And the Cardinals just had enough offense until at the end they got played very well defensively too, turning 4 double plays.
A 3-run 8th for the Cardinals, powered by Beltran. Post-game show is coming up next.